Mechacha obi biara daily trends and our solution. Yen sem no and sem be kan sam yenko na yenkotie and sem no enchem.
Be the first to know and sem PTV.
Abusian last week ela me ma unya antie se nyame adoma enedue 24th June Ecowas court ebetena se e wo gini man ni mo na omode omo atemu a etwato final judgment aba efa ma me get to daraba saba saki Torkonoo former Ghana Chief Justice kwan a Mahama fa so we ne NDC aban ni no ne to akonya na ma me ye na adwen se yamfa na amfa mrakwan enti obe na onso ye na adwen se o de be call high court anyi or the call Ghana ye Supreme Court anyi and or the copy more Ecowas court since last year September be mende case now Ecowas court back and forth and they ana sabra no ka say Ecowas court no e dey judgment amoto na ma me court no hwe niema mako 7 and I know pay Emma last time me ho chirichiri mu niema no pay among other things no na opese Ecowas court no she Ghana aban Mahama any ato force na omoma no sika kudu $10 million say yemfam patano aside that na no opese Ecowas court no esa me edinisi akonya so biem as Chief Justice ne esa edinisi akonya so biem as a Supreme Court judge ene mo bebre na ma me no e call request e free Ecowas court sabra me no ka say Ecowas court me dey ni decision aba na menu nyina beje brani akom ne akan aya Ecowas court ni gina ne mama mako 15 ne mama 15 ana court ni gina so a ode na temu aba ye kan 15 ni wi a obehu se ya bagu anaya mo anto ogu fa na court na agi atuma ma na ho fa na court no epene man ni nyina beje brani ahwe nti yenko point 1 enema 15 no the court ni gina so a ode na temu by the dikan was say the right to fair hearing starts when the 5-member committee was constituted, not the prima facie determination by the President and Council of State. The court therefore doesn't grant that relief, hence dismissed. Point 1 no Supreme Ecowas court and say my men by a court no the two court and him say ya man fair hearing she say ye tie asem court a o see tie a ne tie b my men chire man e kwan a Mahama fa so ete Council of State committee Emma Council of State can say ono ma men no different ye nkoti committee no sa Council of State meeting na e call so man Council of State gina so to Mahama for Emma yete na ho committee ma me ni chire ma ya mana ma committee denim amekasa enye Council of enye committee poama committee no Council of State abato no mokoto ya o kan say prima facie etia no ndi nyina so enti committee no ma me ni chire ma ya ma na chance eno na ma me ni call say yete etia no found Ecowas court na say fair hearing starts when the 5-member committee was constituted and not the prima facie determination by the President and Council of State. The court therefore doesn't grant that relief. And this man, Ecowas court no money Mahama Torkonoo nyaji. So me titi no fa. Name tama ye take committee no. Ye man kwan man kopie committee na ni ma ordinary no disem control committee na ni. And this ye take committee no onya kwan call committee na ni edina no disem control committee na ni ma ontimi nka say ya man fair hearing no Ecowas court say o call committee na ni ko kasa nkwan de ya man fair hearing nti sa side no de ba se titia no fa ho de no o matwam the tosu 2 the prima facie is a filtering mechanism, so the applicant's assertion that she was not given the reasoning is dismissed. Ecowas court na say kwanya Mahama Torkonoo ba say ye prima facie no kwanya the entire committee ni gina so Council of State gina so Council of State ne tu Mahama for si enyi ne to akonya ba answer na Council of State gina so si enyi ne to akonya Council of State ewo estate reasons why pese ye te committee na committee ko hwe sa reason ma me na say am fa ma na ECOWAS court say Ghana mrebia ni wa say Council of State a decision now say man copy it no so about to tezi niema mi about to yet also 3. The assertion that the former Chief Justice Torkonoo and her council were not allowed to fully participate in the committee's hearing is not supported by the proceedings from the committee. That is dismissed. Mahama Torkonoo the court to ECOWAS court and say, "The lawyers are no mudine or mudina mama no. Now you are more time or more committee than any other." ECOWAS court and say, "Oshen krata ababeto n'anima, nkrata e wo nyina akire say Mahama no e the lawyers call." Jumedi na say committee setting man the lawyers call my lawyers ni ko jina ma nti sa asem o ka say ya man kwan ma lawyers amon eno so about to 4 on the applicant assertion of the procedure used by committee being wrong, the court dismissed it because it is on country by country rules and regulations. Mahama Torkonoo sema ono so o de court committee na nim say akwan hodo a committee ne fa so tie na asem o man fa kwan so papa no ECOWAS court no so mo ne maame ne ya adwena enyiye ekwan a committee ne fa so ye tie committee ne fa so tie na asem efra no begina na nim ne ade no eye Ghana mra pepepe tie no so mo ne ya adwena enyiye so mo ba atu the tosu no on the assertion that the committee members did not swear oath and members were biased. The court is of the view that the Justice Puaman and Asiedu being biased because they sat on another case involving one of the petitioners. It is dismissed. Mahama Torkonoo ko eliko to ECOWAS court na nim say Justice Puaman committee na ete no committee no o man swear oath. Ko president committee a yet swear committee in besan committee an swear on ene ye one dey to 2. Justice Puaman na no ye chairman of the committee no ono Mahama na de ne betina akunya so into ono ye bias judge the to Justice Asiedu so na case bi edi kan ba Supreme Court a wadi atia ono Mahama no ntia sa de be kan committee no na sa judge no so ye bias eno so ECOWAS court na say sa o person kasa obi ye bias a criticizing Judgement and criticizing said Mahama and then buy and arena then buy ECOWAS court and says so mujituma eni say Mahama and then buy and I can the first case be now or so and no ECOWAS court and says so many man and so far my kind near my 5 you know my boni na to get us 6 on matter of some members not taking oath before sitting committee, it is member countries who determine that it is therefore dismissed. ECOWAS court and say Mahama Torkonoo kan say omo mo be pie committee na nim kran ebi man fa bible answer and take oath enti nka committee na sitting no say we need mrem ECOWAS court and say no dey omo horo omo nsafri ho Ghana mra ene be determine sa asem no Mahama ne beto as to whether say na so omo swear oath and nin kwan so omo swear oath no omo ECOWAS court omo nim to me say omo determine eno ye Ghana ye Supreme Court na ho kwan to omo de ECOWAS court omo form nsamba 7 on the applicant's complaint concerning the finding of the committee. It will have to evaluate and reassess the evidence before a Ghanaian court, which the ECOWAS court has no jurisdiction. It is dismissed. ECOWAS court and say, Mahama Torkonoo about many say committee findings. Mechre Justice Puaman committee no. Omo present omo report man John Mahama on the 1st of September 2025. Now, sir, committee no any more mudina so report no me come Mahama any more kind of report in the media. Say Mahama per se or challenging any more kind of report to ma. ECOWAS court says ma omuni mu kwan as ECOWAS court say omo edisa asem. Say Mahama no problem with report na omo submitted to the president John Mahama dina so yin adina. And so on fan ko Ghana court enye ECOWAS court any bit media man. Point 8. On the applicant assertion that her suspension from the office was against her right to court, Again, committee was to determine her fate as a Chief Justice, not as a Supreme Court judge. And also, she was removed after the committee heard only one of the 3 petitions. The court dismissed after evaluating the evidence and dismissed it. And can continue. On the applicant assertion that her suspension from office was against her right to court. Again, committee was to determine her fate as a Chief Justice, not as a Supreme Court judge. And also, she was removed after the committee heard only one of the 3 petitions. The court, after evaluating the evidence, has dismissed it. Mahama no de koto Ecowas court in him say, ye to akonya as a Chief Justice. Ye to akonya committee ne sitting na committee na sitting na okotena justice formal committee. No, my human so be in a twakunya, American home as a Chief Justice, not as a Supreme Court judge. In the committee, you made your muye, Yajina so ye in a twakunya as a Supreme Court judge, no man, Ecowas court on Sonny Mamma and Yaji. Ecowas court, Chilima committee, no petition me and son about told many. No, so muti me and sending an ometi 1 and a 1 no more day in a twakunya. Ecowas court and say, only committee near you. Set 3 petitions nearby, but omit me 1, no more fast into or may no may, they are also 2. So as a man, no can say in a Torkonoo as a Chief Justice, ye in a Torkonoo as a Supreme Court judge, Ecowas court and says on any yarn because Ansan obey Chief Justice now a judge, and this Chief Justice if you want, and you went to me a judge, they are also 2 is Emrane kwanya ye faso yi judge e Supreme Court no sa amrana na ye faso di judge e ye faso yi Chief Justice. Yes, ohwe Ghana article 147 na article 146 na e kire how ye faso yi enema obi koye as a Supreme Court judge e be faso yi sa enema obi ya ye be ni to akonya as a Supreme Court judge no sa enema so na ye faso yi Chief Justice enti see you to akonya as a Chief Justice to me Ecowas court to say on it committee ne ya on it Ghana maso ya nti no so obo be to so nko. They believe that it will be absurd to say she can be removed as Chief Justice and still remain as a Justice of the Supreme Court. It is therefore dismissed. Court and so on my many nya say ye man bet so as a judge, not you're okay ye in a Torkonoo as a Chief Justice ye name we man international as a judge. Court is one and see you to akonya as a Chief Justice and your own qualified to be judge. Now when to my Chief Justice judge now be to my and also omunu nyadwin to onko. The tosonko. The court believed that it would be absurd to say she can be removed as Chief Justice until the number 10. On the assertion that the committee rushed its work, the Ecowas court is of the view that the committee exercised a discretion which is not against any law. The court is of the view that Puaman's committee's method and proceedings were regular, and her removal did not undermine her right to work. That relief is dismissed. Court nasa about to say committee ne asetena na omotena ni nyina kwan bi omofa so tena ase bia na wo mrem. Nti eno so se maame ne kase ya ama ne kwan ama na anya adwuma ye suspend ne no e ma ni si adiwe ne ba ya eno so mo se omobo ato. Point 11. On the allegation that she was subject to body searches and dehumanization treatments, including a facility where her uncle was murdered was used during the 1981 military as venue for the proceeding. The court is of the view that all were reasonable and cannot be said to have violated her right and dignity. Mahama the court to Ecowas court and him said, a court committee and no almost section. Almost section no problem. Be no man be man no section meanwhile na bow be no man be man section say na be bi any class order ni say ura no the ni say ura eno ye one titi and found dey to so two baby a ye committee ni kwatena ase e wo su area mo cast area mo no kwatena e ho no ana 1981 military coup ye no na na wo fa ɛwɔ ɛka ho bi ɛna yɛkum nti beebi a yɛde ne call sɛ committee ne kɔtena ase na yɛde ne call bi no ɛhɔ ne yɛkum ne wɔfa nti 1 yɛsɛkye no sɛ bi yɛma bɛrima de ne nsa keka no deɛ ɛtɔ so 2 beebi yɛkum ne wɔfa ɛhɔ a ne yɛsɛ asi nkonya sɛ yɛm ɔmmra ne yɛhwehwɛ ne nsɛm mu ne yɛhwɛ sɛ yɛbɛtumi ayi ne to akonya ase chief justice saa adeɛ no ɔmo yɛɛ no nko ano sɛbi damage ni emotional ko beebi yɛkum wɔfa wɔfa ɔhwɛ wo ne yɛkum wɔ beebi yɛkum na hɔ a na wo nso yɛde wakɔ sɛ bra ne yɛhwehwɛ wo nsɛm mu yɛtiatia no fa wo di so Ecowas court ne so ɔne maame no ɛnya adwene. On the issue of media leaks, the court is of the view that the applicant held a very high position, so anything surrounding them gets heightened media report and public interest in such matters, and public officials must have tolerance for such public and media scrutiny if it is done within acceptable. Maame ne kɔtɔ court na nim sɛ ɛne mɛbu hɔ no mɛba media nim ɛne mɛbu a constitution sɛ ɛnyɛ ne secret na aba media nim ne ade nti ɛno so court no ɛnka bibi mfa court ne sɛ ɔne maame ne adwi mu na emu oyi nipa titiri wɔ ɔman no oyi chief justice mu sɛ me a mete ha yɛyi madi a afiri adwuma ma a ɛnte ne te sɛ yɛyi chief justice akonya nti media ho nsɛnsɛm na ɛbaa ne case no no ɛnya ade bɔne ɛwom sɛ Ghana mmara no hyɛ sɛ biribiara ne anka ɛnyɛ ne secret bɛde nti a ɔmo ne nneɛma na ntimi anyɛ secret no sɛ oyi chief justice nti ɛkɔba sɛ biribiara yɛyi ne to akonya na ɔkɔyɛ biribiara media no bɛpɛ sɛ ɔmo bɛkapture ɛno nti na ɛbaa saa no nti ɛno nkyerɛ sɛ yɛtiatia no fa ho ni so yɛtɔ so 13 aka 2 penny away on the matter of the president of Ghana removing her from office while the case was still pending before the Ecowas. The court is of the view that such actions cannot stop member states from abiding by their laws. Again, there was no binding judgment on Ghana when the applicant was removed from office. That relief is dismissed. Sasemi is a very controversial thing across Ghana. Mahama Torkonoo kwa kache Ecowas court and say, "Time ono maame no ba Ecowas court say ye ne to akonya nti obe fight case no court. Sabre na John Mahama afa n'echi akọ appointed justice Paul Bafuboni say Paul Bafuboni make chief justice. Maame ne chire ma na o senka John Mahama echichire ne nsato ho kopem senka Ecowas court ni bedi asem na wie ti say na awawie nanka wahwe se obe appointing new chief justice announce wenti Ecowas court ne so ne maame ne nya adwe because